bad right now. According to Brett Siegel, we learned that both the Boston Celtics and the New Orleans Pelicans rejected the Warriors trade offers for both Jaylen Brown and Trey Murphy. From what we know, the Pelicans turned down the Warriors' offer of 2 first-round picks as they demanded to add another first-rounder to the trade, but the Warriors refused to do that. And we also learned that the Warriors reached out early in the Jaylen Brown saga, but then were immediately shut down due to the Celtics' lack of interest in Golden State's assets. The Warriors are trying to add stars to go alongside Steph Curry this offseason, but they just been striking out with all of them. First it was Jaylen Brown, then it was Trey Murphy, then it was LeBron. They can't land anyone. And now, oh man, it's not looking good between the Warriors organization and Steph Curry, because apparently they're no longer on the same page. It sounds like Steph Curry's just tired of chasing down stars, because this team just can't land anybody. They got nobody alongside Steph Curry this upcoming season.
So I seen something with Golden State offered Trey Murphy 3 first-round picks, and I see or 2 first-round picks, and they wanted 3. I forget what the exact deal was. I'll try to put it on the screen if I can remember. And now people saying the Pistons should go ahead and cough up to 3 first-round picks. I just want to speak on this real quick. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Hit the link in the description. Find me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram. So first, people was laughing because the Pelicans feel like they're going to contend next year. And to be honest with you, they got a lot of really good talent. But the problem is they going to be able to make it work as one? Are they going to be able to move in unison? You know what I'm saying? I can't call it. Are they going to be able to make this move in unison? I don't know. But people laughing, and if people told you that the Pistons was a 14-win team and they was going to jump to 40-something and 60-something, people would be laughing at that too, right? But yeah, with them 40, with that team, I mean, I just think really they looking at Zion, and he must be up for contract lost weight, and they won't let it go. But yeah, with Trey Murphy, when you start talking about doing those 3 first-round picks, the thing about it is this: when you look at this roster as it is, you need somebody that specializes in shot creation. That's the problem. You need somebody that specializes in shot creation, and that's the biggest issue with the Detroit Pistons. They don't have anybody that specializes in shot creation. Simple as that. So when you don't have anybody that specializes in shot creation, that's the main thing. Somebody that can naturally get their own shot. Now, at this point, you realistically want somebody that get their own shot and they can defend at a high level, because, you want to keep that defensive mindset intact. And we kind of spoke on earlier about, Jalen Duren and his qualifying offer, and him doing that qualifying offer. If you do move him, really, he's not exceptionally great in one area. It's really about the potential, but he's a super athlete for his size. And really, you see him being able to handle the ball, but he's not a great rebounder. He's not a great scorer. He's not a great defender. You know what I'm saying? So with those being the cases, if you are able to get somebody that's really a really good defender, then great. If you're able to get somebody that's a good defender, good rebounder, great. If you get somebody that's a great offensive player, great. But if you don't get somebody that's on par with him defensively or greater than him defensively, then that kind of becomes a problem. You see what I'm saying? But with Trey Murphy, you need somebody that can create their own shot. Murphy, I think he has the potential to get it off the dribble and get his own shot. But I look at him more as than what John Collins is a guy that can really defend his position, and he can catch and shoot. People keep trying to make him a 2 guard. When you think of tools, those are guys like Klay Thompson, guys like, I'm just throwing his name out here, Deion Waiters. They can really get his shot off the dribble. The Ivo Kyrie combination guard. He's not within that vein. At 6'9" with those arm lengths, he's more of a wing. He's more of that new power forward, which is a small forward. People keep talking about girth and size. That doesn't fucking matter today, because they don't allow you to play with physicality, and they switch everything. That's the problem. They switch everything. So when people keep talking about, okay, cool, if he starts off on Franz Wagner, he gets switched on Paolo, it don't matter. Well, if he starts off on Paolo, they can switch. They switch so much, they don't fight through screens. So size doesn't become a problem, because guys like Paolo don't use their size consistently enough. They're not getting into that post. So when they kind of talk about that, He's perfect to play that 3 or that 4 position because it's the same thing. They sit at the 3-point line and they catch and shoot. That's what they do. He defends his position. So when people kind of try to make it a thing where, well, the power forward position is coming back. No, it's Chris Webber not walking through that door. Rasheed not walking through that door. Show me the player, the power forward that play consistently like that. People say Siakam more of a 3. He bringing the ball up the fucking court. He ain't built like I can tell people who didn't really watch what that generation of power forward looked like. But he's not the guy that you want next to Cade Cunningham from a shot creation standpoint of view. No. You want somebody like a Kyrie that can get his own shot. You know, you want a guy like a Hero. You want guys within that vein. And now kind of like if you're gonna ante up on all your candy or your jelly beans or your chili, you want exactly what you're looking for. And that's somebody that I can get a ball on that perimeter and they can give me a shot. They can create somebody a shot as a secondary thing, but they can give me a shot. And then also I want you to be able to defend. And that's why Kawhi Leonard was so crucial to what they was trying to do. You know what I'm saying? So you want somebody that can create it and create their shot. Primarily, Trey Murphy ain't really that. So if I'm going to give up the future, it's somebody that, if it's going to be a Kyrie or KD, a short-term thing, I need to get a championship out of that. Or B, if I'm going to give up that money, I want the Trey Murphy youth, like Tyler Hero. But also I want what I absolutely need, and that's somebody that can score the bucket. And with, you know, Jalen Duren giving up his qualifying offer, or maybe possibly taking a qualifying offer, I said in my other video, the Pistons can run. They can run. They can go out there and go for it right away. Because now he only making $10 million. You got all that cap space. Why, go use it. But if I was to go out there and get Trey Murphy, it would be a move in addition. It would be a move in addition to another move. That would be what I say. It would be a move in an addition. It would be an additional move. If I get Trey Murphy, then I went out there and I'm just throwing a name out there, Levine, or I got a Kyrie with a Trey Murphy. That's how I would look at it. It's an addition to a move. If I got a Sengun, I got a Trey Murphy. It's at that point with that $10 million qualifying offer, that give you about 30 to 40 million bucks to play with that you didn't plan on spending. So if you're going to keep him around, hey, you might as well race to a championship at that point. But Trey Murphy, if that's your final blow or your finishing move, that ain't the finishing move that you need. It's not the finishing move that you need. I hate to break it to you, but it's not the finishing move that the Detroit Pistons need. They need a real bucket getter. When you think about Zach LaVine, when you think about just guys that can go, Jalen Brunson, Kyrie Irving, when you think about guys that can just go out there and just get you a bucket, that's really what they need. They just need some, and if they can defend their position at a high level, that's just what it is. But hey, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, find me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Appreciate the love and support. Peace.
This is a genuine question, and I need your help. What is the New Orleans Pelicans' plan? They have not done anything this offseason. Do they have any sort of strategy whatsoever? Just for some clarification, the Pelicans went 26-56 last season and somehow have made no deals this summer besides re-signing DeAndre Jordan. And by the way, made a mistake when they re-signed DeAndre Jordan because he would have gotten the 10-year vet minimum subsidy if he signed a 1-year deal. But the Pelicans gave him a 2-year deal, so they're on the hook for both years. Just an unforced error by Joe Dumars. I really want you to process this. Also, the Pelicans did not make Jeremiah Fears or Derek Queen play in the Summer League when we saw other organizations make their Year 2 players play. We've also heard them float Trey Murphy in trade talks, but according to Kevin O'Connor, the Pelicans have resisted all trade offers for Murphy with the intention of competing next season. Now, I agree with their decision to not trade Murphy, but what are they competing for? Here's one thing I do want to say, though, in their credit. They do have access to all their own first-round picks and all their own swaps. So they could potentially, if they wanted to, be buyers at some point. So much of their future, of course, relies on who Derek Queen becomes, who Jeremiah Fears becomes. Can Queen and Zion play together? Now, the glass half full approach is maybe the Pelicans are just using this as a year to clear some salary. Jordan Poole's salary is entering the final year. DeJounte Murray entering the final year before a player option. Jordan Hawkins. With the new NBA lottery system, if they're somewhere close to the middle, a little below 500, they would have a higher probability of getting a number 1 overall pick. I, for the life of me, cannot understand how you go 26-56 and you do nothing. What is Joe Dumars cooking? Not to mention, in the midst of all this, the Pelicans no longer have a dedicated reporter from The Athletic, ESPN, or the local paper. You know what this kind of signifies to me? This team might be relocating soon, as much as it pains me to say. I'm being too doom and gloom. They do have a new head coach in Jamal Mosley, but man, looking at a picture like this just makes me depressed. I'll end it on a positive note though, because Zion, once again in the summertime, looks jacked. I don't know, this to me looks like the most depressing franchise right now in the entire league. Am I overreacting?